Hi guys, and welcome back to the channel. Today we have these two lovely Hanharts come in for review. Now, I don't believe that these are for sale yet in the UK. They're the new 415 ES models, and these were sent directly to me from the guys out in Germany. So a massive thank you to the team at Hanhart for doing that. Unfortunately, I believe they do want them back, which does kind of spoil it somewhat, but what can you do? Hanhart as a brand have been out since the 1800s, and they've been doing pilots watches for many years. They really know this stuff. I believe they started off with pocket watches and so forth, and then they really do kind of love their chronographs, especially their manual wind, which these ones actually are. I think they look superb. So much so, as I say, I brought that 417 in the background. But before I get too far, let's talk sizes. We'll start off with this white model first. It's coming in at a 30, I think a fraction over 39 millimeters for bezel, around about 39.3. The thickness of a watch, including that crystal there, is 13.6. The lug to lug, so the longest part across the watch, is 46.5, making it very wearable for many size wrists. And the bracelet size on this one is coming in at 20 millimeters. Let's talk about this one first while it's in my hand, the white dial. Obviously, we have this gorgeous white kind of matte finish there with these great black, kind of high contrast hands against that there. I think it just really is clean and concise. It really does look good with those black kind of syringe style hands. There is plenty of lume on this watch. All of these printed on hour markers are full of lume, as too are all of the hands. Even the second hand has got some lume in it there. Unfortunately, I'm surprised they didn't go for a lumed bezel pip, but they haven't. I really, really like it. I like the fact that you've got on these subdials, you've got a circular patterning going on around there, and the white hand in contrast. What's happening here? This is actually your constant running seconds. So this hand here is your chronograph. You can see if I stop, well, let's watch it past 12 o'clock and we'll see the minute totalizer jump over 1 extra minute. And there you go. So being that it says 30 on there, that means you can only record up to 30 minutes of elapsed time. But for 9 times out of 10, that's probably all you really need. We've got up here the new, well, let's say new. This is actually a vintage Hanhart winged logo. Again, this is one which started off on this model back in the 60s. I think you could even find it, I believe, on some of their travel alarm clocks. They had the winged hands as well. I'll have to double check that, but I believe they did. Then down here, you just have the anti-magnetic, because the whole movement is in like a proper cage covering the entire movement, and you have shockproof. Well, obviously the watch isn't truly shockproof, but it does have like a rubberized gasket system around it, which helps take any blow from any sudden impacts. It just looks apart, I think. Let's check out the black dial. Now, the black dial does have one party piece we'll get to in a second. As you can see, for contrast, they've gone with white hands against this black background. Again, you do have the fully loomed numbers as to the hour hands, but what this one also has is loomed subdials as well. And I have to say, it does look very, very cool. We've gone with exactly the same printed minute track going around there, and the Hanhart logo, and the anti-magnetic and shockproof. Overall, a super easy to read dial. The crystal on this is a high domed kind of box section crystal, and it looks very, very cool. Has ever such a light curvature to the top of it. There is also anti-reflective coating. As you can see, it gives off a slight purpley haze in certain lights, and it does a pretty good job, to be fair. Obviously, being domed and with a heavy kind of radius on the side, you do pick up a certain amount of reflections. It's just one of those things. I do like, as you do look from the side, you get like a bit of a magnification against the hand stack and dial. It just looks very, very cool. The same is exactly on this one, and now we get to the bezel. The bezel itself is like a coin edge bezel, and it is very, very smooth. It is a bidirectional bezel, so what I mean, it can go the anti-clockwise and clockwise on this model. Does it line up? Yes, it does. Well, let's see. Is there any back play? No, it just pretty well locks into position, and that is it. It is a 60 click bezel. So what I mean by that is every single click of this equates to 1 minute. Overall, it's really nice. You also have this ceramic insert on top there, which is actually, I believe it is machined out. Yeah. So these, the dots on the side and all that are not just painted on, they are actually recessed and then painted on the inside. Makes it much more durable. So overall, I think it is very, very cool. On this one, we have the satinized finish going across the side. I do like the fact on this, and this is better than 417, you have a nice scallop on the actual underside there. And then you've got the, again, a nice polished edge there. And now we're back to radial brushwork going across the top of the lugs. The crown on this side and the pushers, they do protrude out quite some distance. I've always said I'm a little bit worried about ever knocking these, but you know, they seem to be okay so far with no problem. Both of these models are manual wind movements. Let's reset that chronograph and we get an idea how good it looks. Boom, straight back, no problem at all. So the crown on this side, it is silky smooth. Really, really nice. On the back of these watches, we have the same case back. The case back basically is to help with anti-magnetic properties. Hopefully causes a whole shield around the actual watch, around the movement, which helps with the anti-magnetic properties of this watch. It also features 100 meters of water resistance. The only thing I would say, if you do take this watch in the water, try not to press or move the crown out. The only reason why I say that, I know they are sealed, but capillary action, if you do press them, it's not good. But anyway, underneath the back of this, we are featuring the Sellita SW510M, and that is a manual wind movement. Both, I believe it's got around about 58 hours of power reserve, 23 joules. I put both of these watches on the time grapher, and I believe they were both round about plus 3 seconds. So, absolutely no problem at all there. They are very solid, dependable movement. There's something about a manual wind, which I always think you have more of an attachment to a manual wind watch than you do an automatic, because you spend the time every other day to wind it up. Just one of those things. I like it nonetheless. The bracelet on this has got a little party piece for Hanhart. As you can see, a nice kind of freeling oyster style, dare I say, bracelet. And these are actually screws as well. No pin and collar system on this. We do feature their new clasp. Now the clasp also features the winged logo on there, which does make it look a little bit cool. But as we release with these twin pushers, we are greeted with a micro adjust system underneath there. My 417 doesn't have this. So if I press this, and here we go, you can bring this out quite some distance. So you're probably talking, how far is that? It's coming on for, I'd say probably a centimetre. Looks like there's 5 clicks there, and you can, this is what I always like, when you do have it all the way out, you can actually click it in. So basically you can release it all the way, put it on your wrist, and then press it in until you find your desired actual length for the bracelet. This has still got the stickers on there. That's what you see there. So overall, I do quite like this. It is good. And also, one of the big benefits of this one, even at full extension, there you would not tell that is an extension piece. It looks like a normal link. It's only when you pull it to the side you can see it. But if we go just one link in, you don't read it at all. So I do like that. I think that is a definite bonus. And the good thing is as well, I believe the bracelets are relatively affordable. £200 something. For a bracelet, that is actually extremely good value, I have to say. It's the watch, actually, the price of a watch. Now, this is awkward because it's not really available in the UK. It's coming out on the German price about the same as the 417 historic back there. So it's a fraction more affordable, about £100. So I believe this will probably, by the time it hits the UK, you're probably talking 2,300-ish, but I am only speculating on that. I can't say for sure. But if you want it a little bit more affordable, you can buy them with these leather straps as well. Let me zoom out so you got a better look at these. They do look very, very good. This one, if you're a Hanhart guy, you will recognize straight away because this normally comes with the bund strap attachment. This one, the leather itself feels very nice, very supple. You have a nice backing piece on there, which is very soft against skin, and it is quite padded. The same can be said for this tan model. In fact, I will demonstrate on the white model now that so you can get an idea how it looks. But take this off because the bonus feature on this, we do have quick release actual spring bars on the back of this, so I can release that. And let me just take this one off here. You can see how quickly you can remove that, and then this one goes in like so. Press it back, bingo, in. And on this one, is it in? There, that's in. Whenever you fit a new strap on a watch, always give it a little pull just to double check they are in, because everyone has done it at some point, put a spring bars in and they haven't been seated properly, and it's a really it can be a very expensive experience, especially if they drop on the floor. That on the tan strap, I think looks absolutely superb. It really does work very well in this. But just for a little bit of a giggle, I thought I would try it on the Sin white silicone because I can, and it was surprising. It did actually fit. I think you do need slightly thicker spring bars to stop any kind of gap at the top, but it did look kind of funky. So let me put these on my wrist so you got an idea how they look. Quick wrist check. I'm wearing my wife's Seiko Solar, actually. Don't tell her, she'll go mad. She's got a thing for tuner watches with her tiny diddy wrists. And Bob has the 417, which is just, I think, gorgeous. My wrist size is 7¼ inches. That equates to around about 18.5 centimeters. Now, this, as you can see, I haven't adjusted the bracelet. That's not even, is that fully out? No, not quite. So that is all the way out. I dare say you could fit an 8-inch wrist on there with no problem at all. And that is on my wrist there. I think it looks absolutely superb. It is a cracking model, really, really good. Let's try the white model on. Just 1 second. I'll have to do this off camera because I've got the strap on this one. I won't do it up tight because I don't want to leave any marks on the leather strap. But there you go. I think it looks really, really cool. There's something about, Hanhart as a brand. I think they make some really cool watches, and they've got absolutely shed loads of history. And it just makes them a little bit more interesting, I think, than your regular kind of go-to model brands, really. Anyway, let me know what you think of these two in the comments. And also, which one would you go for? Would you take the black or the white dial? Obviously, the black dial has the little party piece of the loomed subdials. But I would be interested to know. Anyway, guys, all the best. And most importantly, you'll stay safe out there. Take care. Bye.